Hey, my friends, it is E-Money, your BFFF, best financial friend forever. And one of the topics that we're going to talk about this year a lot more is getting your associates to produce for you. Look, make no mistake, how you live, the life that you want to live, the amount of money that you want to put away, the income streams that you want to grow, the debt you want to pay off is directly tied to how much production you're getting from the rest of the people around you. You cannot go at it alone. So you have to make sure that your associates are producing for you. There are 4 to 5 things that you can do to help improve that so that you can ensure that going into the next year that your associates know exactly what it is that they need to produce, not just for you, but for themselves. So myself, Eric Gersh, tackle this. I think it's awesome. I think you're going to love it. As always, please go to our website, econologicsfinancialadvisors.com. If you are in need of financial assistance, schedule a call with us immediately. It's never too late to get on a plan, and most people are suffering from a lack of having a financial plan. So enjoy the episode and make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that we can continue to pour out a lot more awesome content. Okay, guys, see you on the next one.
I'm on a mission to help 200,000 practice owners achieve financial freedom. I'm Eric Miller, author of How to Become a Financial Beast. Download my free book today, A Practice Owner's Guide to Personal and Business Wealth You Never Thought Possible.
Now that we're live on air, do you want to talk about your New Year's?
Yeah. I played pool with some friends.
Just want to get it off your chest of
Just
what
played
happened?
pool with friends. I mean, why you're coming at me?
I'm not coming at you.
Usually the one who accuses has something to hide.
No, did I accuse you?
I
just heard stories.
You're hinting at something.
I just heard stories, so that's all. Anyway.
What'd you do on your New Year's?
Nothing, not a thing. Sat on the couch with my wife. It was it.
Do you have proof?
There we go. Okay, what are we talking about today?
Associates and production.
Yeah.
And how much they should be producing.
So, all right. Well, that's fun to do.
Yeah.
And where'd this come from?
Well, I mean, it's just it's a constant conversation every single day in some form is profitability.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't matter what kind of practice you are, if you're a vet or a PT or anything else. At the end of the day, profitability largely comes down to production. And are you getting enough production out of the staff members that you have who do produce? You know, because you've got your staff who produces, and then you've got your support staff.
True. But, there is a stat that I think everyone should probably be tracking, which is revenue per employee.
Yes.
Right. And, look, I've heard various numbers on this. That's for sure. I've heard some people say, your average production per employee needs to be like at 300,000 or higher. I think if you're at 250, you're probably, at least somewhat profitable if you're doing that. But it is a stat that I think a lot of people should keep track of, because, look, it's easy to keep track of the associate production because it's just, that's it right there. But how do you keep track of a tech or a PTA or, a front desk person,
It's true.
I guess it's a little bit more challenging, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. So, I think it'd just be as easy as, hey, I have 10 employees. I did $3 million in revenue last year. That's $300,000 per employee. That's $300,000 per employee.
Yep.
You see what I mean? So,
and I'm sure there's specific numbers for each industry, because I mean, like a PT is going to be a lot lower than a dentist.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. But that doesn't mean that your associates, your associates need to produce a certain level. You have to expect that from them. And it just comes down to it. Like, standard of living that you want is going to be in directly proportionate to the production that you're going to get from your associates. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So you are going to have to make sure that, and the barriers to this seem to be that, well, I don't want to push my people too hard.
I think it's that. That's definitely a barrier. And I think the other barrier is just as simple as, when I ask clients, okay, what should your doctor be producing? I'd say probably 7 out of 10 don't know. Or they give me a number that, is from 2015.
That's terrifying right there.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. When you don't know what your associate should be producing. That's pretty terrifying right there.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I have my numbers, I think.
I have my numbers.
What do you think they should be?
Well, what industry?
Well, take veterinary.
Veterinary?
Mm-hmm.
I would say, for if you hire a new grad, you're probably expecting maybe 600 the first year.
Yep. And
creeping upwards from there. But for a non-new grad standard doctor with experience, 800 to $1 million is where they should be.
It's simple as that's it. That's it right there. That's it. Like, there's no, but they time off, and it's like 800,000 is the minimum that these people should be producing for you.
Oh, I've asked clients recently, and I've literally had people tell me, because I'll go, okay, what do you expect in a year out of your associate full time? Mm-hmm. I literally had someone a couple of weeks ago say 450,000.
Yeah, you're going to be broke that way. I mean, unless they're only working like maybe 2 days a week.
Yeah,
but if you're
that would make sense. But
yeah, if you're a full-time vet associate, your target should be 800,000. So break that down for me then. What that looks like on a daily basis. Can you do that? So figure there are 23 days out of the month.
Well, let's see. I mean, it comes out to like $3,000 a day, close to it.
$3,000 a day. Yeah. $3,000 a day. And if you're seeing 10 to 15 patients a day, I got to think that they're seeing a lot more than that, aren't they?
I mean, hold on one second. I mean, that takes about, depending, I mean, I'm going to assume an average transaction of $250, which is pretty fair. You're talking 12 patients a day. 12 patients a day,
$250 at average transaction.
Yep.
$800,000 of production. That's it.
Yep.
Like, that's not hard. I don't think so.
It's not unachievable at all.
No. And I don't know what gets in the way of people doing that. I think it's just all the other, I need time off, I'm working too hard. Maybe they're not being mentored right. I don't know. Maybe they're not asking the right questions when they're in the exam room. I don't know. Keeping appointments.
Another thing that slows people down is their appointment times, especially in veterinary. You can't be, your associates can't be doing 45-minute appointments. It just doesn't work.
No, that'll get to the next industry, which is PT, which I think is probably you should be getting what. So assuming that, again, we got this is a little bit more challenging because you have different reimbursements for different states. You have, but they should still be seeing like a minimum of about 65 to 70 patients a week.
Yeah, I mean, I've always operated off of $300,000 for a full-time therapist.
I think so too. Yeah, and you minus out time off and some of the other things, and you're probably in that 275 to 300,000. But if you're getting that kind of production, then you're going to be profitable. That's going to keep you at your 20%, I would say, profit margin. Okay. I'd say for optometry, it's probably the same as the veterinarians, probably somewhere in that maybe $700,000 to $800,000 range.
I think it actually might even be able to be a little bit higher in optometry.
Yeah.
I was thinking more so like low millions.
It could be. I mean, their average transactions are probably 300, 350, somewhere around there. It's a much higher average transaction.
Yeah, it is.
And you're looking at, the ability to, but look, all this comes down to, I don't care what the industry is, whether and same with the dentist too. Dentists should definitely be doing being close to $1 million of production.
Yeah, dentists and optos pretty similar. They can easily hit about $1 million each.
Yeah. But here's the thing. You have to do the math on exactly what it's going to take for you to be able to hit your production numbers, down to the number of patients you're going to need to see on a weekly basis, with an average transaction, and just do the math based upon how many days that we're open. It's not a hard thing to do.
No, it's really not.
So if you're expecting like that, I have this new doc and I want him to do 800,000 this year. Do the math with them. Do the math. Break that down for them on a weekly and daily basis. Because you start throwing out big numbers. Like when I first told you I wanted you to do $1 million or whatever it is of production, I'm sure you thought that was like a huge amount of money.
Oh, absolutely.
But when you start breaking it down, it's like, no, all you need is this many clients and this many new clients and this much in recurring fees. And when you break it down now, it's like, oh, okay. Like, we probably do it a little differently than what a medical associate would do, but it's still, the same. You still have to do the math on it. You still have to make sure that math is done.
Yeah.
And, I think so what are the obstacles that owners are going to get? Okay. First thing is first, do the math. Do the math with your associates. Okay. What's the second thing they should do? I think the second thing is that you're going to have to listen to what their objections are to that. Because if you start saying, I want you to do blank, okay, they're going to say, well, I don't know if I can do that number. So what's that going to tell you immediately? Well, that tells me
they lack confidence.
They lack confidence. Yeah, there's a confidence issue that they have. So what can you do as an owner to start to minimize or eliminate that uncertainty and indecision?
Train, mentor.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly train them a little bit more. You could maybe sit in on some of their meetings, maybe shadow them a bit to make sure that they're saying the right things, that they're doing the right things. You can provide them like a template of things that you've done as a successful producer that have allowed you to produce pretty well, right? Like I wrote up like a script. Now, I don't know, you guys don't use it exactly anymore, like as I wrote it up, but it gave you a template of what to say.
Oh, yeah. And I used it a ton when I was a new advisor and building confidence. And I used to literally like study it.
Yeah. You have to like get some kind of repetition going of what you're going to say to patients and to people when you're in that cycle.
Yep.
Okay. Because your main objective is to build trust with this person that you're going to take care of. And if they don't trust you, I can promise you they ain't going to give you any money.
Nope.
They're not going to give you any money.
And they're not going to trust you if you can't speak, in a educated and professional manner on whatever topic you're delivering, right?
Yeah.
If you're telling me why I need X, Y, and Z care for my dog, right? You better be able to explain it in layman's terms to me and not be like unsure and
Yeah,
choppy and, you know.
exactly. Like I would encourage like that you get your associates on some kind of a I don't want to call it a sales system. It really is, but it's something that how to deal with patients in the exam room.
Yep.
You know, like what is it? What is your script? What are you having them say? How are you having them greet them? You know, what questions are you giving them that they can ask so they can start uncovering what the real problem is with their people? And then, you know, are you teaching them any closes?
Yep.
You know, some simple closes, three or four. You don't need a lot. You know, it's just maybe 3 or 4 closes so that you can increase the amount of agreement and what's the client? There's a term for it. I can't remember it right now, but anyway, I think so that gets into it. So first thing you do the math with your associates. Second thing is make sure that they feel confident. And if they don't have that confidence, make sure that you are training them, giving them a script, writing up successful actions, giving them something so that they can improve their skills. Okay.
And I would say the third thing to add to that would be make sure that your associates are both able to and are actively delegating out appropriately, you know?
Yep.
Like your associates should not be...
They're using the techs or the assistants.
Yeah, they're using the assistants or the techs or whatever they're called in your industry. But, you know, all that busy work can slow them down quite a bit. And I've had people many times over the years mention like, oh, well, my associate likes to do it themselves.
Yeah.
That's great, but that's going to slow them down.
Yeah, no, that's a good point right there. Is like they have to get in the habit of just like just like an owner wants to do everything by themselves.
Yep.
They have to get into the habit of like, hey, I have other people on my team right now, and I need to pass the ball to them.
I need to trust them, and yeah.
You know, you look at all the great one-on-one players that have ever played, you know, any kind of sports. And, you know, there's been a lot of them, but I think for all of them at one point would say, I knew I was never going to win a championship unless I got my other teammates involved, you know, and that's what they did. And they got their other teammates involved, and, you know, you need to do the same thing. And if you don't have confidence in your teammates, then do the same thing, get confidence, and make sure that they have confidence and they know what they're doing.
Yep.
You know, and just don't say, well, it's not my responsibility, it's not my job. Well, report it. Say, hey, you know what? This guy needs some more training because he's flubbing this, he's doing this wrong. You know, it's like that's how a group gets made. You know, when the other group members start holding the other group members accountable. It's not just, you know, that the boss needs to come in and inspect everybody and always be holding somebody accountable. That's not a group. No. You know, that's just not a group. Yeah. You like that, don't you? You like that totalitarianism, you know, just can't wait for that to happen. Can you?
One day.
So, okay. I think to your point though, that's a good one. Is definitely make sure that they're delegating out and using other people. I think, you know, 4 is like, which kind of ties into number 2 is just like, start working on their speed.
Yep.
You know, like start getting them, it kind of ties into 2 and 3 is like, start having them track their speed.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's directly speed is kind of those confidence and delegating, combine those two and that equals speed.
I think what will end up happening is that if you do those things, you're going to start seeing them get a little bit faster at what they're doing. And that will, of course, just increase the amount of people that they can see. And but you got to let them fail too. Sometimes, you know, you can't go in and save them all the time. You know, they have to actually kind of go through this thing themselves as well.
Yeah, no, it just made me think. I have a veterinary client who I was talking to not long ago, and he just hired a newer grad. I think she had like a year experience or something. It wasn't much. But anyways, I asked him, I was like, how long are you going to give her for appointment times? And I was expecting him to say like 30, 35 minutes because she was new. And he was like, 20 minutes, which is how long his appointment times are. And I said, it kind of caught me off guard, honestly. I was like, oh, you're going to have her on the same clock as you, and you've been doing this for 3 decades. And he was just like, yep, that's the expectation. If that's what I do, that's what she can do. And she'll figure out how to make it work. And sure enough, she did.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I think people will actually figure stuff out as long as you're there to, like, as long as you don't, use the domination technique or invalidation technique, or, you gotta obviously validate them when they do a good job, and just make sure that they know that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw up. Just take responsibility for it, learn it, own it. And, you're going to come back and do, much better. I mean, the volume of patients that people see in, as in the healthcare industry is like, it's a lot. I mean, they see hundreds of patients.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to go well at all. And I know why the industry has, this quote unquote, these mental health issues, is because, people can be mean sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And they can be frustrating. Let me tell you, it's no different in the money area either. It's, it's the same. It's, in some respects, it's the same life or death, because if you can't get your money right, that's bad.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what did we say? Do the math. We said, what was the second one?
Confidence.
Make sure that they have confidence. Training. We said the third one was delegating for sure. Fourth one was kind of the speed.
Yep.
And was there a fifth one that we did? I don't think we did.
No, okay. It was just the 4.
Well, there should be some kind of a reward system if they hit their numbers too. So you also have to make sure that to incentivize them to want to do more, there needs to be a bonus. Make sure that there's a bonus system paid for production based upon what they're doing. So make sure that in your compensation plan, there is some kind of a bonus system that's involved in that. Now, it just so happens, I think that another great way that you can get people to get more engaged is to make sure that they see that their personal financial goals are tied directly to the production that they do. And, as recently as, probably 4 or 5 months ago, we started working with associate doctors and making sure that they got their money right. So, we write plans for associates. We show people how to get out of debt, how to save money, how to create other income streams, all these things. And I think it's incumbent upon you as an owner to make sure that you get your associates a financial plan with a financial advisor that works with them to show them exactly, hey, what is the benefit of you making more money and more production? How fast can you get out of debt if you make an extra $10,000 a year? How fast can you put down on a down payment for a new house, if you're making another, $15,000 or $20,000 a year? Like, their production needs to be tied to some personal goals for them to really want to do more. So you got to make it like an incentive for them. Like, oh, I'm doing
once
this.
They see it's real,
Yeah. Once they see it's like doing it for them, and it's like, oh, I
can do this.
Yeah, it doesn't take me that much. If I make another $15,000 or $20,000 a year, I can have all my student loan debt paid off in, half the time, or whatever it would be.
Yeah, and then they figure out to make that $15,000 a year, it's only another, 1.2 patients a day or something.
Yeah. So, geez, what if I got this up to, I see another 2.4 patients a day?
Yeah.
Now I can save, $40,000 or $50,000 in a year that I never thought I could do before. So it's just like, it puts a need for them to do more production because it ties into their personal goals as well.
Yeah, motivates them.
Yeah. So I think that's another reason to get your associates banging on production. Okay. Not bad, Gersh. Not bad for the new year and for whatever it is that you did to your body on New Year's Eve.
I was waiting for it. I knew there was going to be one more jab.
You did all right.
I made it. I'm here.
All right. On to the next one. We'll see you guys.